Hello, everybody. I hope y'all are doing well. It is moi. So, actually, before I start this, let me show the thing the first part of this project. Which is this. I actually took a screenshot of my own Clip Studio Paint. I took a screenshot of that. Because I can. And I might add a little bit of some prints or stuff here. I'm not fully sure. I'm pretty proud as to what I've done in here. I even added some subsurface scattering. Over here. Chain here doesn't really make sense, so I might swap the thing around. But anyway, I am going to go ahead and make the new file. And this is the main thing I'm going to be referencing for the background. And this is the artist for this part. And this is kind of the idea I had for the workspace. This ellipse here is meant to, to represent the artist. And here is going to be part of the foreground. First, I'm going to go ahead and try and find one of the things that I downloaded some time ago. Which is probably in here. Why do I have this hat? I don't remember why I have that hat. I don't know. So gonna look through all of these. See if I have that thing that I think I might have. I think all of these here are just from Clip Studio. So I'm gonna start off with the primitives. Which I am going to add extra divisions for the sake of perspective. And I'm going to duplicate it as well. And I'm going to move it over there. I think I might need to move both of them. And right now, I'm just going to be doing a lot of the ease over here. I only have enough Vyvanse to carry me through this week and all my assignment days. So if I'm not able to get my refill, which my mom had to call my doctor's office so that I could get the refill. What was the thing that I'll make it taller. I'll move it like that. Anyway, I'm gonna go take my Vyvanse. Cross out the Vyvanse. But yeah. So to kind of explain, and for those who were not here, there were a few weeks ago when I first started working on the first part of this, I, for context, have a project that I've been working on since the semester started. It technically isn't due until like a month from now. So I have pretty much a whole month before I even have to worry about it, technically. And I don't even have to go this hard on working on it. But here's the thing about the moi. I'm gonna go that hard anyway. So, main thing I need to consult here is the whole reference thing for the thumbnails. And I don't know if I have any furniture installed. That would make sense for this. Which I might need to go install some that are free. Need to use. I think I can put this here. Let's move that. Here. I know. But now I need to figure out what I should put here. Because I don't fully remember what exactly I have. I know I have an easel asset. I just don't know if I just have it in my downloads or not. I don't appear to have it in my downloads. So I definitely put it somewhere else. Unless I accidentally put it somewhere? I didn't mean to. Actually, hold on. Give me a moment to go to my to the asset store. All right. Unless I... didn't download it. Also, I'm gonna go into my references folder that I can find one that is relatively accurate to what I need to work on. Free. There aren't a lot. There is an easel and chair from what I see, but I think I'll download this one. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and save this. As past artist part. I'll have to figure this out eventually. Because the angle, I don't know how I'll actually be able to do it. Let me go into my downloads. Hold on. I think I need to close and I gotta wait for this to download, I think. Well, I can favorite this as well. Add some other assets. I'm going to reopen because I'm pretty sure the asset has downloaded now. Which we place there. And I'm actually gonna go go back to that easel by Fujihiro. Right. Right, so... now I gotta go ahead, select it all. And then, configure this. It's gonna be really hard to figure out how to do this at the size and stuff that I'm planning on having it. But I think I'm gonna... stretch this out. I'm going to move it back. Duplicate. Then I will rotate that. Then do that. I think I can definitely move this back. And let's also stretch out that. This is gonna take me at least an hour to figure out. I think right now I should go ahead and add the 3D figure. I'm gonna add a bit of... actually, no, it's not really gonna be seen anyway. But what I am going to do here is that I am going to start placing certain parts of her, you know, which, let me go ahead and lock everything else. I am gonna go ahead, if it'll let me, gonna start off working on all of this. Anyway, ads are gonna start soon, so hold on. Let me turn everything off so I can just focus on drawing her. Which, this is basically just so I know where everything sort of goes. Like, so I have a general idea as to where everything is placed. It's not gonna look the prettiest, but it's not meant to be. He's super pretty. Anyway, Agile, my deepest Toyota Corollances for Agile. Gonna go here. I'll add this little widow's peak. And this. And now I gotta add this thing. Actually, wait. Do I even have to add that? Not even. Also, let me quickly go and close that. I'm gonna go save. Wait for ads to be over. Yeah. Biggest part of, making in these two things, the diptych, is the whole trying to find out how to do everything. Like, how do I configure for all the parts of the project? Like, how do I make sure everything looks half decent? So I'm gonna add this. And this is basically gonna be do this real quick. Anyway, welcome back from ads, everyone. I'm just gonna... Here, working on this, it's... The texture screen I'm doing here is not my best work. Because I don't know how to do this anyway. But... I'm going to keep this relatively sketchy. Because this isn't even meant to be this is basically just me making a shitty guide. It has to everything's gonna look like. Hello, Fate! Hello, what's up indeed? I am working on a thing! Which is technically going to be for a grade. Chilling, finding victims to chill with you. Sounds cool. Yeah. Which, for context, let me go find the first part. This is the one I worked on 2 weeks ago, around the start of my spring break. So, I plan on adding some things to this. So maybe, like, that looks good. I'm glad you think so. Yeah, the main thing I'm doing... So this took nearly 8 hours. Most of it was just rendering. And now I only have 25 minutes on this file, but that's because I am literally just getting started on it. What app is it? It's Clip Studio Paint. Specifically Clip Studio Paint EX. And I recently upgraded to 5.0. And, yeah. So I think I'm done with the... Here. Use Krita for a bit. I tried to use Krita, like, when I first started trying to do digital art. This is, like, modeling. Well, Clip Studio Paint is a drawing software, but it does... also have 3D models you can use in order to help with, you know, perspective and proportions. It's what I use for the... You never knew? Yeah. It is pretty cool. Cool, though. But let me just... I'm gonna go ahead and move this over. How's my day, by the way? It's going quite well. I write? Yes, I do. I write creative stuff. I actually have a writing blog over on Tumblr. You do poetry? Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't really do poetry myself. I tend to write more like general prose and stuff. Like, I'm an aspiring novelist. Yeah, novels. I write novels. Or at least I'm trying to. And I also tend to write fanfic on the side. What genre? I tend to write fantasy. You know, a lot of manhwas and stuff. Yeah. Right now I'm kind of like just... This isn't a process I usually do with my art. You know, this whole 3D asset stuff. I usually don't do this sort of stuff. Looks fun though. Yeah, it is. It is pretty fun. And frustrating. Yeah, it is very frustrating. Which I think I'm going to add another primitive. The nefarious cube strikes again. Which I'm going to compress it, expand it, and place it over here. Also, I think I'm going to unlock the planes. And I'm going to go grab a color so that it's not just no. Is that a cat on my lap in my VTuber model? No! It's a shirt! Also, yeah, it is a shirt. I actually do look so cute. Yeah, I made this model myself. And I also have this. This is my Transformers OC Subiector. He actually has had a bit of a design update, which I plan on eventually incorporating in when I... It's a mini Transformer? Yeah, she's a mini-bot! Like, literally, she is a mini-bot. Which, actually, let me go... He's the mini-boss! No, the mini-bot. But she used to be a mini-con because she was part of the Decepticons. Hold on, let me go find one of my drawings of her. I speak Transformers. Yes, I do. It's my flavor of autism. Which side are you? I think they're both pretty interesting. I honestly do like some of the characters like Drift, who started off on one side but then ended up going to another. Yes, this is Subi. I made this before I actually made a finalized, more proper version of my watermark. My art's so cute and cool. Thank you! Yeah, I actually have made some assets, like YouTuber assets, based off Transformers. This is the most recent one I have done, and I made this around last year. Right, that's so cool. I'm glad you think that. Yeah, this is Powceptor, which I made at the request. Well, I asked him, and they said I should do Perceptor because that's... Microscope on the glass is just attention to details. Yeah, and it can actually be removed. You can show it if you want it to be shown, or not show it. It has modes, yes. And you can also remove the microscope. Combat mode in normal, yes. Combat mode in normal. And, hold on. I should probably show that. So the first one I did, I think. You can probably see how much I improved. Wait, no, it was not Bumblebee. It was not Bumblebee. It was my first. It's Transformers I plushified. It was Trax. Which, if I show both of these, you know, together, you can see how much I improved in my ability to draw Transformers. Which I made this around 2024. Yeah, that's like a journey, yeah. And I've been meaning to redraw some of the older ones I've done. Thank you for making me witness such things. Respect, yeah. Yeah. I should definitely redraw some of the things I've previously done, but I think the first thing I need to do is work on this. I think the, the main thing I should be working on right now is this, I think. Which, let me make this bigger. Yeah, this should be big enough. But yeah. I might have fun. See ya. See ya! I probably need to install a paintbrush and a paint palette asset. So that I can, draw all those properly. should probably do this as well. Maybe. Yeah, I think this looks a little better with the perspective I'm gonna try and achieve. Then there's gonna be something here in the foreground. Just let me go. I need to quickly do this. Is gonna be like an expression. And then I'll lower down the that and you should twist it. Oh, and this one I have her holding it like this. So I should probably do this. Maybe twist this a little bit. I'm gonna go into the hand pose. And I'm not fully sure what I'm going to do with certain things here. Like, I'm not fully sure what I'm going to do with the foreground and over here. But I'm getting close to the intermission. There's like about 7.5 minutes until the intermission. So I think when the intermission happens, I am going to stop what I'm doing, and during the intermission I'm going to look for some assets like, you know, paint palettes and tables. And mayhaps flowers. I'm gonna grab this. I'll do that. And I'll also find a paintbrush asset that I can use. Which... I definitely need to organize all of my assets and my asset thing. But I think I'm gonna start the intermission a little early. Because I also need to use the bathroom. And I'm gonna close this so I don't accidentally add any more time to it than I'm actually working on. And I'll be back in a few minutes. Alright. Come back. And I can't find a paint palette. I'm gonna... Oh boy! Paintbrush! Download. Now we must wait. Download. So it appears I might need to use a primitive in order to... Oh. The result I require. And I desire. AKA, I can't figure out how to find a palette. Like a wood palette. In the asset store. Unless I... Nope. Womp womp. So let me go back here. Gonna go into the object list. Going to lock basically everything else. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go rotate it. Still let me. Oh, hello, Magda. I should probably go into the hand pose. Good to see you, Max. Which... I'm gonna go look up a reference real quick. And holding paintbrush. Alright. It appears that this is being held just completely wrong. Which, let me go fix that real quick. I have to do this. This is gonna take a while to figure out, but it will be figured out. So we have those two sort of pinching. Oops. Alright, let me... do that. I should have taken a picture of my own hand as a reference in hindsight, but... eh. I'm gonna move you. Put you there, so you move with her. Now I gotta set up the primitive. I am going to... I'm not meant to be all the way over there. Right. Touch edit you. Alright, let's try to start this more. Let me quickly hide that. Hello? I'd like to have you over here. Which we go. Do that. Now, time for the main thing I've been dreading. The thing that the artist here is painting. I'm not looking forward to doing that. So let me... I'm gonna quickly go through my assets. Well, not my assets, the asset store. 3D... and free... table. I think this could work. I'll let that download. Oh boy, free for a limited time! I'm downloading that too! I'm also gonna flower vase. Oh, a textured vase set. Don't mind if I do. There's another, and I'm gonna go download that as well. There's one with flowers in it as well. There are a lot of noodles, so it can be a little lagging. I see this is translated from Korean. I'll look up, see if there's any 3D flower assets. I am just gonna download a bunch of flower assets. Because that is probably gonna give me maybe the So, I'm gonna go into my favorites, because apparently there's an auto action for turning things into glass texture and a metal texture, which is meant for lettering. But I think it's pretty interesting. which is yes. Save this. I'm gonna take a little mind break. Like, no, mind break. It would be weird in this context. Brain break. Little brain break. It's all about to start. Cause my brain. So I still have a bruise from when I got my blood drawn. Also because my eyes feel a little heavy. Like understimulated. But I'm just gonna get up, walk around. I need to throw away that dead bug. That dead box. A little bit. I'll be back in. Bug has finally been thrown away. Yeah, have a small snack. I think I kind of hungry. No. I have some things I can consume, which are Oreo Cakesters. I'm gonna mute myself and I did not mean to open up all of them. So I'll eat and I'll unmute when I'm done. I finished eating. Fortunately, ad started as I was finished. Womp womp for me. I started on a fresh new box of tissues. Because of course, that happens like every few weeks. I'm gonna wait for it to end before I start working on the boss. I probably should have consumed something with a little more sustenance than an Oreo Cakesters. But it's what I have. Yeah. Just gonna chill until ads are over. Actually, let me go ahead and I need to go ahead, delete some of these. Have nothing in them. Go ahead and move some of these over to the entire body part. Because now we return to this. And I'm gonna move this over like that. Santa, what are you doing? Can I make this a different color? I don't know if I can. I can change the outline color. at least there's that. Anyway. It appears I cannot change the actual color of this. So I think if I do, I'm gonna have to this. If it'll even let me. The UV map of this object is not set up correctly. So I guess I can't actually change the color of this. But let me first rename it. And now I'm going to go to here. And I'm going to mention this real quick. The colors I am picking out here are, in fact, likely not going to be what this ends up looking like in the end. I am just going to quickly make that disclaimer. Because I feel like that is probably a good idea to make that disclaimer in question. Which, let me switch. I'm going to that. Oops. It appears that my itty bitty calico is having a bit of zoomies. Now, I think I'm gonna unlock this real quick. No, I can't change the color of it. But now I'm gonna go ahead and slowly start incorporating all the 3D objects that are going to be in the actual thing. But the back. I did not mean to do that. And now, gotta go, grab this. And let's that over. And go grab the whole thing. I need to spin it around. Oops. That is clipped. There. Really? I'll thicken up that. Then I'll go ahead and move this. Over. Over here. Mm-hmm. But yeah. I wonder if I'm actually gonna be able to start working on the actual thing in here. Like, at all. Like, will I actually be able to work on it? I have no idea. I'm going to add this as well. Because I think it's pretty pretty. It's gorgeous. And I need to get this smaller so that it doesn't overshadow every other flower. Yeah. The next intermission is gonna be happening in about 10 minutes. Is a little disastrous, if I say so myself. Might need to make it smaller. I think that is a good size. Now, why is it so big? Why are you so large? Excuse you. I can't use that. I don't think I'm gonna add too many flowers here. I think I might just add those 3. Because clearly the lilies are way too large. Anyway, go find that. There we go. I think I can consider the 3D asset part done for now. I just need to find a good angle to have everything in. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna unlock the drawing figure for this. I did not mean to duplicate the camera. Reset. On. Put that over. So I'm gonna move the camera and then I'll start the next intermission. Which I think 220 be good. So this is what it kind of looks like, but maybe I should move that plane. Camera. I think I need to move this around. The lens. I can lock it here. And I'm gonna go ahead and start making all the folders. And I think the first thing I might start with is the gesture of the character here. I did not think far enough ahead about the boots. But right now, I have 1 hour and 18 minutes on the file. So, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and start the intermission, and I'll be back in a few minutes. and have consumed some food because I'm starting to get a migraine and I needed to take my black salt. So now I'm going to go ahead, start making the gesture for this lady. I am using the right brush. Had to make sure of that. Right. So I don't know if I'll be working on this just the next time y'all see me be live. Actually, the next time I'll be live, I'll be doing Deltarune. The art day is gonna be exactly a week from now. I should go remove that and this. And I'm gonna go import the modern artist image. Just for safekeeping. It's mostly in case I did the nose a little differently here, which I don't know if I have. I'm going to make the nose here a little this. And of course, I need to add the bowl, the beauty mark. And I'm also going to add the eyebrows. And just slowly but surely on the face. Now, the past artist here is going to have thinner eyebrows because of the beauty standards back then. Which thinner eyebrows I think have been coming back. Which I'm not a big fan. I don't know if I'm a big fan of like super bushy eyebrows, but I think there's like you have to balance the thickness of the eyebrows in order to make it look good. Especially when you, like, proportional to your face. Like, if you have a very low hairline, it might make your face look a little too busy if you have thick eyebrows. If you make yourself have thick eyebrows. And there might be a big gap if you are like me and you, like, have a 5 head. I can hear my brother. Because of course I do. Anyway, this is just a gesture. So I'm not going to worry too much about all the details. But I am going to try my best to start implementing some of the stylization that I am going to do. So let me find the linen smock. Okay. References. I actually had that saved on my Chrome browser. Which, for anyone wondering, Skelly, why are you using 3 browsers? They all have their different purposes. Waterfox, which I recently started using earlier this month, I believe. Like sometime last month. I am using mostly for my streaming. Opera GX is what I use for like my general, like, you know, stuff. And Chrome is specifically for my classwork. And why I specifically that? It's because I think it's easier. And in the case of, you know, Chrome, I sometimes have Opera up to listen to music. Now, I believe this mark goes down here. And the cuff goes to there. I'm going to be keeping this relatively loose thing because it's, you know, a smock. It's meant to kind of go over your clothing. To make sure it doesn't get covered in paint. I probably should have added a fingernail or something to these. Kind of like show a bit of the definition. And there we go. Make this cuff a little bigger. And Now I'm gonna go start on some of the palette. And also, hello, Kid Catty Cat! And I hope you're doing well. I am currently working on something that is for an assignment. Well, not really an assignment, a project for one of my classes. Which I have to be creative. Hey, what about yourself? I'm doing sort of well. I started getting a migraine earlier, so I had to take some of my Maxalt. But other than that, I'm doing quite well. Asa, what are you doing? Sorry, my cat is begging me to let her out my room. The migraine tones down. It usually does. It depends on how quickly I take my Maxalt. After I realize, oh shit, I'm starting to migraine. But if I take it early enough and like 800 milligrams of ibuprofen, I'm usually somewhat fine. But it's pollen season, so the migraines are starting to start up again. Magda is. Bolts away. Yeah, so I'm actually gonna save this. And I'm gonna. What's the assignment about? It's actually a project. Specifically a creative project. Me. Oh, and look at my. I do have the assignment written down on LibreOffice. I have to go into documents, assignments, brainstorm document. So there are several different choices for the project, but the project choice I did is plan/design a work of art in any medium that has a conversation with the theme, concept, civilization, artistic period, artistic style, or an artist you have encountered in this class. By conversation, I mean that you have considered your relationship as an artist with the art of the past, which is your artistic legacy. This relationship can take many forms: rejecting the art of the past, building upon it, challenging it, absorbing it, etc. Your conversation should incorporate your understanding of at least one aspect of the art history critique process. Deliverables: a plan or preliminary design for your work of art, or a picture of a work of art completed for this project. I do not expect you to make a completed work of art for this project. An artist statement of at least 5 paragraphs explaining how your conversation with the material and discourse and the art history critique process is reflected in the work of art you have planned or made. Identify any sources you have used to plan your work of art, including the textbook. Yeah, that is basically the project. That is basically the project I am currently doing. Interesting. Yeah. I've actually done this project before. For which... Let me go and grab the project that I did the first time when I took the prerequisite for this class, which is art history. Like the last one was prehistoric to medieval era, and the one I'm currently taking is 1300/Renaissance to modern. So, I made this back in 2023. And y'all can probably tell that I have made a lot of progress in my art since 2023. I don't know if I actually worked on this for my, or like, I don't know if I actually worked on this on stream. But I do remember, when I first noticed that this was one of the projects, I was like, I did something similar in my Art 101. Maybe I can do something similar to show off my improvement as an artist. Since, 2.5, for like, during the 2 years that I started really using Clip Studio Paint. It's almost been 3 years since I started using Clip Studio Paint. And I still have the file that I used when I first started trying out Clip Studio Paint. And I remember, because like, for context, I started streaming back in 2022. Like, the summer of 2022, around like mid to late June, after I graduated from high school. Which I basically did so that I had something to do in between my college semesters. Originally, I was kind of a faceless streamer. Like, the first VODs I have, which were of Little Witch in the Woods, which I'm currently playing through right now, because last year, back in September, the full game came out. My first few streams were of that, but they are lost to time because Twitch doesn't manually have you preserve the VODs. But then I switched to Stardew Valley, and for some time I was still faceless, but then I encountered VTubers, and I was just like, you know what, that would be fun. So I installed Vroid Studio and made my first model, which was basically just me. Brown hair, brown eyes, cleft palette, somewhat curly / wavy hair. And then I made my 3D concept model for my first ever Live 2D model. And then it actually took me 2 years just to work on my first Live 2D model. Like, and most of it was actually working on the model, like drawing it. The actual rigging took way less time, but I remember my debut for that model was very scuffed. And like, because I did certain stuff very last minute. But then I was able to make my 2.0, which I actually started making it a few months after I debuted my 1.0. Redesigned her, fit with the lore. I did plan on making a teaser comic for the debut, but I never finished it at all. But now I am working on a new model for a completely different character that I plan on kind of using in tandem with this model. Which I'm currently working on making the 2.1 update for. Which means I might have to completely reset at certain parameters and redraw them. But let me show the part that I completed for this. So these are the two. This is the, this is part of, this is meant to go with this. And this is the first time I did this project. Which, as y'all can see, I have improved significantly as an artist. You know, since 2023. But there are quite a few things I have done. Like, you know, back in one of my other classes, like some of these I made back in when I was in using Fire Alpaca, which included this where I had to like use masks and stuff. Then I also have this. Is, you know, based on Stardew Valley. It looks kind of bad, to be honest. But honestly, I'm pretty glad that I've made a lot of progress in my art since then. Alright, I also have this like surrealist thing that I did last year, which I can't really show because I don't think it would be within TOS. I'm gonna go back to this. Try and finish some of this gesture for ad startup again. I think this is a good shape. I'm also going to grab this and make the pocket. Which is gonna hold this. And I just realized I don't actually have a reference for Victorian era style footwear. But I'm gonna add this theme, which this is just a gesture. Anyway, ad break is starting in less than a minute, so I will stop what I'm currently doing about here. Close it. And I'll wait for ads to happen before I continue working on it anymore. I'm actually gonna use this as an opportunity to look up Victorian style footwear. Anyway, agile. I think I'm gonna look at masculine style. Reference 5. We go. Put that. So, I don't know if I'll actually be able to get started on any of the line art and the like for this project. All I do know is that I'm going to at least try and finish most of the sketch and that sort of stuff. About a minute until ads are over. Ads are over. I'll continue working on this. Yeah. So ads are now over. So I'll go finish working on that gesture. Which there's gonna be pretty loose looking. I'll put that. See. And oh. And the reason for the gesture is so that I can do something more specific later on. So I'm gonna go start off with a line. And this is going to separate the colors of the wall and the floor. I think I'll use the teal over here. Then I think I'll go over here for the floor. And then I can go ahead. I'll use this color. Actually, I might just do line art for this. Which I'm actually gonna reduce the opacity. Of that. Then this. And I might do a bit of a outline thicken name, most likely. This is kind of like just a preliminary thing I'm doing, which just all the way down to where the line ends. Now we go up. Will eventually be thickened as well. Right? There we go. Now, let's do this. I'm not going to add too much detail to the actual easel. Because I just don't feel like doing that a lot. There we go. And there. Then here. Turn off the figure part. Of the sketch. There we go. I feel like if I had the time and ability to justify it, I'd probably learn Blender for this, but I don't want to. I'm not gonna bother learning how to use Blender until I'm able to take a class on how to make 3D models. Because then I'd be able to get actual instructions on how to use the software. I'll make a new layer for this so I can erase where I need to. Bjerk, Bjerk. Doggies are outside. Hey, boys. It looks a little weird, but I'll fix it later when I thicken up some of the lines. So we're heading close to the final intermission of the stream. I don't know how long I'll be working on this specifically for. I know it's gonna be a while that I work on this. So go. I'm gonna start doing some of the curved lines. the canvas. I gotta do this. And I think this is done. Gotta add some extra lines. Over there. But I think that this is pretty much done. At least for the line art part of it. Which I'm gonna start off. I'm going to start off with the line art over here. I'm actually gonna make the line art over here thicker. And then the inside parts gonna be a thinner line. Do a thinner line than that. And that. There we go. And the reason I'm doing all the outlines here is because I honestly just want to. And the curve tool allows me to kind of make it look the best that I can. And the reason I made the outline for the object thicker is so that I could do a thick outline, and then the inside lines are gonna be thin. And there we go. And I'll do that, even though it won't really be shown. I could have used like the Bezier curve, but I don't feel like doing that. Now, a straight line. Off. And there we go. Now let's do this. And ads are gonna start in about a minute, so go ahead, finish this. I'm not going to, I'll finish the rest of the line for that later. But I think for now, I'm just gonna go take a break. I'll be back in a few minutes. was planning on using the bathroom, but it was occupied. So I'm just gonna do this. And then next ad break, I'll see if the bathroom's open and I can use it. But yeah. I do what to do indeed I will. Business. And my brother's rage. Playing. Oops, dropped my phone. Yeah. Gonna start doing some stylistic things. Yeah. That are done. I'm going to make this sort of a reddish brown. Mahogany. Wait, hold on. Just do this, can I? Just invert and do that. There we go. I think that looks quite nice. Now, color in the lines. For that. Now, let's get started on the vase. And now these. And um, this will go there. So I think I'm going to make the vase blue. I like have it be a bit of a secondary point of interest. Now let's color in the line of it. First I'll figure out what to do with this thing here. I'm not just gonna make it a cube. Not like this where I, can just have use the cube primordial because it kind of makes sense for the modern artist. Here it does not. I'll have to look up references. So I think I'll have the flowers below the line. Some of the flowers below the line. Not sure. Maybe I'll have to do a little bit of a messing with layers or something. And I'm not going to make these super detailed because it's very likely that I'm just gonna end up using the blur tool before this whole thing. All the flowers and the vase. To add some depth. Yes. Oh. So I'll do the outlines over here. Right. Done with this. Now, that. Now make these smaller. Actually, no. I'll make that a new layer. Then do the line so that I can easily just color everything when I am done. And it's probably gonna end up being obscured by a blur anyway, but I'm doing it anyway. I probably like flatten the layers for this just after I copy it. Then I can do the blur. I also want to erase some of the outline a little bit where it goes in a little too much. That should work a little bit. Now I can turn off the background reference. I'll use this. As the reference for the thing. I'll eventually color the lines. And for this as well. And I'll go with a bit of a grab the tone here. Then that. So that is what it currently looks like. Which, if I grab the wall as well, this is what it all looks like together right now. And I will grab this for the stem. Now put it under there. Merge. Not what I meant to do, but oops. So there is a cat meowing profusely. I have no idea whatever he wants. None of us know. He is a mysterious little man. And a weird little man. Here we go. Now, I'll make this, like... color? Then... that? Now that is currently what it looks like. Just... fire all of it. And... go ahead and do the rose. See, I'll do this by hand. Tangent annoys me, but I'll fix it later. Um, And I think I'll make the rose here blue instead. Because, why not? Or I could make it the lip color of the modern artist. But I don't know. That is going to be the temporary rose color. But anyway, I think I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I will be back in a few minutes. Back. I'm back. Oy. So ads are still going on. I'm going to start redrawing the stems over here. I'll use the thick one, some thin. Yeah, wind. I'll use the same stem color. Right. Anyway, welcome back from ads, everyone. I think I'll do the on this. And now we just have the final flower to work on. Which I'll turn that off. Then I'll start working on this. But yeah. I'm not fully sure what else I'll be doing after I work on this. I don't think I have a lot of time left to stream myself anyway. So I'll likely end up just ending stream to recuperate and prepare for, the rest of the week. Until the next time I'll be able to go live with the Delta Day rune. So go with this. Also, I do plan on using a bunch of you know, filters when I'm done with this. Not just gonna look like as it is right now, especially for the flowers. I'll be adding a bit of a warm filter or overlay to parts of the piece. And now that's more warm. I know, I can easily change it because it's on a different layer. Now, cut that part. So and now I think this part is done. I'm gonna go ahead and have this here. For the rose. Now there's 18 minutes until the end of stream. $17 now. And I think this is pretty good progress so far. Then, 2.5 hours total working on it. Which gonna do the gesture here. And do that. Now, go ahead and start on the actual sketch. Fucking cat, I swear. Meowing and meowing and meowing. I have no idea what that damn cat wants. Might want attention. Right? Now, this is the second pass of the sketching. Okay. Don't know how long it's gonna take me to finish this whole thing, but it's definitely gonna take a while. Right? But yeah. Right? Right? The itty bitty is back in my room. Right? Now, finish up the sketch over here. Right? There we go. And we got about 9 minutes until the next ads. So and now Right? Seven paint. But yeah. So I think I'm going to go end it here for now. Because I'm starting to get a little exhausted from drawing. I wasn't able to make too much progress, but that's because like half the stream was just me trying to figure out all of the 3D asset placement and also downloading a bunch of assets that I didn't download beforehand. So yeah. But anyway, so the final two streams of this month are going to be the 28th and the 29th. Eastern Daylight Time, of course. Which, those will be Deltarune on the 28th and more art / classwork on Sunday. And then after that, I only have a little over a month that's left of weekend streams. For, you know, end of my semester. But yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and recuperate it from streaming. Hopefully we'll be able to finish Deltarune on Saturday. But yeah. I'm a little tired and kind of hungry, so I'm gonna have a snack, consume the snack, and I'll be working on stuff for my classes for this week, and I'll be seeing y'all on Saturday. Bye!